walk through the hills and woodlands of Oley Valley, and it almost seems that time stands still. Reminders of the first European settlers dot the countryside, capturing their pride of craftsmanship and love of land.
People come to Oley from other sections of the country and are amazed at what you can learn about how life used to be, about the architecture, about the crafts, and about Pennsylvania Dutch traditions.
Pike Township's Kyme homestead, dating from 1713, has outstanding examples of 18th century Germanic architecture. Since 1745, there has always been a mill here, near the village of Loboxville. The machinery of Kindig Mill operated solely on water power until the mill ceased operation in 1965.
When they came into this area, into the Oley Valley, there was a melting pot of sorts because these people came from all different areas of Europe, from England, from France, from Germany, from Switzerland, even from Sweden. And they brought all these different traditions in building. And you can come here and discover some of these differences. And so you learn so much from the past.
Before William Penn invited all cultures and nationalities to share the riches of his woods, this was the land of the Lenni Lenape. In the days of the Native American, all nature was one. Man was simply the first among equals in the universe of living things, entrusted with the care of the bountiful earth, the Lenni Lenape's universal mother.
Whatever liveth on the land, whatsoever groweth out of the earth, and all that is in the flowing rivers and waters, was given jointly to all, and everyone is entitled to his share.
Now at the gateway of the 21st century, the Pine Creek Valley Watershed area in southeastern Pennsylvania is still a place of flowing waters, waters that nurture millions of people who have never beheld Pine Creek's beauty. The headwaters of Pine Creek and many of its tributaries are located in Berks County's District, Pike, and Rockland Townships. These creeks and streams form a part of the Manatawny Basin and eventually feed the Schuylkill River, a major water source for Philadelphia and southeastern Pennsylvania.
The Pine Creek Watershed has been designated as exceptional value by the Department of Environmental Resources. This is the highest designation that a stream can obtain in the state of Pennsylvania.
By the Pennsylvania DER's own definition, the 7,200 acres of the Pine Creek Watershed is an outstanding resource. What is a watershed? What makes Pine Creek an outstanding one?
A watershed is the topographic divide between streams, and it encompasses not only wetlands, but the uplands, the floodplains, as well as the wetlands within a particular stream corridor.
Woodlands and forests act like giant living sponges, greatly increasing the area's ability to catch and store water. According to the Berks County Comprehensive Plan, preserving the streams and woodlands of the Pine Creek Watershed is crucial to provide water supplies for Philadelphia and its suburbs.
A wetland is basically an area that supports plants that can only survive in saturated soil conditions. The plants only identify that a wetland is present and that the water is at or near the surface for a considerable period of the growing season. What we're really interested in doing is protecting their functional values, and their values are, for Pennsylvanians in particular, flood control, protecting water quality, and some of the best fish and wildlife habitat that we have in the state.
Pine Creek Watershed and Pine Creek itself is somewhat unique for southeastern Pennsylvania, and statewide it compares very favorably with some of the better quality streams in the Commonwealth. At least from the standpoint of the Pennsylvania Fish Commission, the measure of this is the biomass or size of the wild trout population that inhabits the Pine Creek.
Unlike the majority of Pennsylvania's waterways, brown trout grow naturally here in numbers that require no human-assisted restocking. Pine Creek is also the home of two Commonwealth endangered species, wild ginseng and the bog turtle.
To the average citizen, protection of a bog turtle or of a brown trout may not be important because that seems to be at such a low level in life in comparison to the life that the citizen lives. But to protect the environment that these organisms live in means that you're protecting water quality in a stream, which may in the future be important from a consumption standpoint.
We use endangered species kind of as a barometer, as how we are doing as a country and as a people. It's kind of like the lamps they took down into the mines with the canary in them. When the canary died, they knew there was a problem. So when we protect the habitat for the species, we're not protecting it solely for that species, but there's an adverse impact on the ecosystem as a whole that's causing the decline of that species, and that's really what we're working on, protection of the ecosystem as a whole.
There's a nonprofit organization of volunteers dedicated to the preservation of this area so important to the lives of so many, the Pine Creek Valley Watershed Association.
These people that we work with in the Pine Creek Coalition have very high motives. They're interested in resource protection. They're interested in ensuring that water quality in the Pine Creek is maintained, and they want to make sure that any development that does occurs in an environmentally sound manner.
Since 1987, Pine Creek Watershed Association volunteers have worked with local township officials and landowners to introduce sound land management practices. The association sponsors public information sessions and publishes a newsletter. It monitors watershed areas to safeguard against pollution and destruction caused by unwise development. As the federal government relaxes wetland standards, the work of the Pine Creek Watershed Association is even more vital today. We need the time and financial support of even more volunteers to help us in a cause that has impact far beyond the boundaries of Pennsylvania's Berks County.
Although an individual may not live in the Pine Creek Valley, we have to remember that in this world everything is tied to everything else. In other words, the water in the Pine Creek flows downstream and eventually joins a larger receiving stream. And if we pollute our upstream water supplies, eventually someone downstream receives polluted water. If we fill wetlands in the Pine Creek watershed that had high value for storing floodwaters, eventually that floodwater that was stored in our wetlands in the Pine Creek watershed are displaced into the stream and eventually cause flooding problems for downstream neighbors. So we all ought to be concerned about what happens at the headwaters of these streams that are in fairly good condition right now.
The net result of the efforts of the Watershed Association, the Fish Commission, and individuals who live within the Pine Creek drainage to protect this stream is that future generations will have an area that is somewhat pristine, somewhat representative of life in the past, and an area which they can take pride in knowing that it has been protected by the efforts of past generations so that the future generations can enjoy the beauty of the area and the resources that are harbored within that watershed.
The past and the present hold keys to the future. It's up to you and me and all of us to ensure the future of the Pine Creek watershed for those yet to come.